Hello, I'm Sarah, the Gallifreyan Ravenclaw. Now, this is a question Whovians have been debating for a very long time. I'm sure you've already seen the title, so you're probably mostly aware of the rumours that Susan will be appearing during the 60th, but due to Carole Ann Ford's age, I doubt she would be able to continue as a recurring character after the 60th. Appearing would be a good cameo to bring together the history of the show, a bit like William Russell did as Ian Chesterton in The Power of the Doctor. I suspect if Carole Ann Ford is in it as Susan, she will have a larger role but I still don't think it will be very big, although his role had to be quite small due to his age, because he is 98, but she is also 82, so she can't exactly be running up and down all the corridors again. But I suspect she will still be doing some of that if she is in it. But something I've said I'd love to happen if she really is in the 60th is that she then sacrifices herself for either the Doctor or a companion, probably a member of the Temple Noble family. It seems they appear to be the companions in the 60th. And then regenerates and then becomes a recurring character, because obviously they can then cast a younger actor or actress. I think it would probably be actress just because people would complain otherwise, but obviously Time Lord's gender is interchangeable, so it could be an actor. So if she was a recurring character like River or Jack throughout the future, it would be a good sort of way to honour the past in the new era. Because I know Russell is trying to make the 60th a good jumping on point for new fans, so it would be meeting this new character who classic fans would know who she is, but new fans don't need to. She's just a new character. But of course this begs the question, can Susan actually regenerate? Because the reason and your instant answer was, well, of course, she's descended from the Doctor, so of course she's a time lady. But the issue is the real life story behind the early eras. So I'm sure most people know this, but I'll just quickly sum it up. During the first Doctor's era, his backstory was more old man from the future created time travel in his shed and then went travelling with his granddaughter. There was nothing about being an alien, Gallifrey, Time Lords, any of that. He specified being from another time a number of times. He never said about being an alien. Once William Hartnell got too ill to be able to continue the role, they went, we don't want to have to stop this big programme. So then they came up with the idea of him being an alien who could change his face. And things like Time Lords and Gallifrey were just added throughout the second and third Doctor's eras. But Susan only ever travelled with the first Doctor. So when she was travelling, canonically, things like Time Lords didn't actually exist. I do know she did appear in the 5 Doctors, the 20th anniversary, but I remember seeing something about a producer or something saying that they could not mention at all in the entire thing that she was his granddaughter, because obviously they were aware of this issue by that point, because by now Time Lords and Gallifrey had been a recurring thing that most fans knew about, and so they were trying to avoid that issue. But I believe that idea basically got laughed at of, well, that is who she is. That is why she was travelling with the Doctor. So I believe they did mention it. I haven't actually seen the 5 Doctors myself, but I believe they do specify in that she is still the Doctor's granddaughter. Like I said, I've not seen that much Classic, so I believe that is all the facts from Classic I need to factor in, but do let me know in the comments if there is something from Classic I've not counted. I'm only really good at New Who. A key thing with New Who is all 3 showrunners we've had to date, so Russell T Davies, Stephen Moffat and Chris Chibnall, all grew up watching Doctor Who. So we'll always try and factor in all these things from the past, and often that includes all these things that sort of fell into obscurity or storylines that were never finished. They often try and tie those up because they were things they remember from their childhood. So if we start with the basics, in the name of the Doctor, when we see Clara tell the Doctor which TARDIS to steal, Susan goes with him. So that proves that Susan left Gallifrey with the Doctor, rather than he left when he was younger with maybe a wife and child, and then the child met someone, and then they lived on another planet for 20 years, and then Susan was born there. That clip disproves that. So, okay, she was born on Gallifrey. But not all Gallifreyans are Time Lords. So there are a number of different explanations on regeneration. And I know, Timeless Child, but the 10th Doctor in Sound of the Drums says about the Untempered Schism, where the Master first heard the drums. But in A Good Man Goes to War, Madame Vestra refers to the Untempered Schism as the thing that gave Time Lords their regeneration ability. But in The Timeless Child, the Master says about it being gene splice for future Citadel dwellers and their descendants. Now, I also know looming, but that has never actually been made TV canon, so I'm not factoring that in at the moment, but I am aware that looming may be another issue. So whether or not you count looming as canon, descendants could mean two different things. The Master could have kind of been saying future Citadel dwellers and their children, or future Citadel dwellers and the people who they then choose to live in the Citadel. But with the Timeless Child, we're not just talking about a Time Lord who gained the ability, whether through looming or whatever. We're talking about the Doctor, who, like it or not, is canonically the Timeless Child. So, maybe with other Time Lords, if they only married Gallifreyans, then by the time you get to grandchildren, they wouldn't be Time Lord enough to be able to regenerate. But we don't even know who the Doctor's wife was, let alone Susan's mum. Were they Gallifreyans? Were they Time Lords? What were they? But I think no matter what, being a direct descendant of the Timeless Child, and only 2 generations later, Susan would be Time Lord or Time Lady enough to regenerate. Obviously, if her mother and grandmother were also Time Ladies, that would make it way more likely, but we do not know who they were. We have never met them. So all in all, I believe Susan can regenerate. But it wouldn't be impossible for a future showrunner who brought her back to go, no, she can't. But maybe if it is still Carole Ann Ford, then neither her or the Doctor are aware. That could easily be her first regeneration. So she could sacrifice herself or whatever in the 60th, and both her and the Doctor sort of go, well, am I Time Lord enough to regenerate? And they both have to kind of wait and see, a bit like the 10th Doctor did with Jenny, sort of waiting to see whether or not she could regenerate. So a scene similar to the Jenny one would be quite interesting, of sort of the Doctor waiting to see if Susan is able to regenerate. Obviously, I said I would love for her to regenerate and then be a kind of Jack or River style recurring character, but they could say, no, she can't regenerate, and kill her off. I think some classic fans would be annoyed by that, but that would be possible. So let me know what you think in the comments, and whether or not you think she can regenerate. I think she probably can, but it wouldn't be impossible for a showrunner to claim that she can't. But I think they would get quite a lot of complaints about that. So if she is in the 60th, do you think she will regenerate during the 60th? Or do you think she'll die and not be able to regenerate? Or do you not think she's in it and those rumours are fake? I think they're quite likely that she will make a cameo. Just because, I said, she's 82. I think they wouldn't want to risk, oh, well, she can appear in the 70th. I think they might want to use her while she's still physically able, because she may be in 10 years physically unable to do it. She might get ill. So do let me know what you think in the comments, but thanks for watching. Bye.